All right, the highly anticipated bandsaw blade, see how sharp it is, test. Where am I going to get you guys? Let me see if I can get this. Let me show you around a little bit here. See what I got. See what I got going on. So, got my slider here. There's the old 113 bandsaw. Got the new blade on it. Seems to be tracking okay. Got all the guides adjusted real quick. Got saws up here. Got my rigid table saw here. So I use, sorry about all the movement. I use this one mostly for ripping. And I use this one that I've modified here. Actually got a Delta fence on it and a crosscut sled. I use this one mostly for cross cutting. But we're going to check this out. I got a chunk of white oak here. What I want to do is make a couple cross cuts in it and do a rip cut in it, see how it works. And then maybe I'll try to cut some curves. But let me see if I can get this thing moved a little bit so I can have a better, just get you guys set down so I'm not moving around so much. Okay, I'm going to get this moved over a little bit so I can have a little more room. Okay. And let's see where I can get you guys. Let's try here. I'm going to run it without dust collection for now, just so it's not so loud. But this is, let's see here, good chunk of white oak. You can see all the medullary rays. It's a little thicker than 2 inches, probably close to 2.5. I'm going to cut a chunk off it, and then we'll do some cuts on it here. See how our new blade cuts. So hopefully we don't have any mishaps. If I do have any mishaps, you'll get to see it here first. Let me throw the fence in real quick. We'll do a cross cut with this. Just cut a chunk off. Just for the sake of now we don't use this bandsaw a whole lot. You know, just mostly all right, so you saw the cross cut. Let me see if I can get a close-up of what the finish looks like. The handset blade. It looks like the finish is really good. So the set's coming out pretty good. Let's get rid of the crosscut here. Crosscut sled. I'll just make a couple of random cuts with it. Show you how quick it's going through this. I mean, this... do I have a hammer close by? Just want to make, I want to prove to you this isn't rotten. Hold on. Somebody will say, oh, you picked a piece of rotten white oak. All right, so I don't know if you can see it, but this is definitely not rotten. Okay. We're not messing around here. We don't make shit up. So this is a Craftsman 113, an old 113, a 12-inch throat on it. It goes up to about almost 7 inches high. You can see the cut that I just did by eye. It's cutting fairly straight. I mean, I wasn't following a line or anything, but just trying to cut off a parallel piece. So it looks like it's doing a fairly good job. Let's get it set up. Let's do a rip cut on it. Oh, looks like the guide's perfect. Get down here. I am going to throw the dust collection on for this one cut. Just, I wonder if it'll kick the breaker out. I'm going to try the dust collection for this one cut because I just vacuumed this all out and I don't want to fill it up. So hopefully that's not too loud. Let's see how it rip cuts. I'm going to try to cut just a thin sliver off the side. I was wondering if that was going to happen. Hold on one sec. I got to flip the breaker. Sometimes when I'm cutting thick back here, I can kill a breaker on this, and I'll run it off another circuit. But let me finish this cut. So it looks like it's ripping fairly straight. I mean, the oak's kicking over, but you can see the end. Looks like it's ripping fairly straight. Let's just get this back on there. Let's finish this cut. I'm barely pushing on it, guys. Look. I'm just barely pulling with my other hand. So, to show you proof of concept wise that it works, let's see what you're seeing. So you can see this white oak. You can see the medullary rays in it. You can see the finish on it. See if I get it up real close with my hand in there for scale. So proof of concept wise, yeah, this works. I mean, you can rip or resaw white oak with the process that I did. You know, this is about 4 inches wide. I mean, 4 inches wide. You know, white oak doesn't get much harder than this. That's a good torture test. Get you up close there. You know, good torture test. This is wood that we milled. It's pretty dry now, but you know, you saw how easy that went. Didn't even have to push on it. So you know, this. See if I get up close on the blade. Somebody will say, "Oh, you bought a new blade." No, this is the blade, you know, that I sharpened and that I set. I overset it a little bit with the hand setter, sharpened it on the Foley. Oh, let's see if we can cut a curve with it. Do I want to do that in white oak? Let's try it. I don't know how this is going to go. It's a pretty thick piece. Do I want to waste this piece on... Do I want to waste this piece? You know what? I'm not going to waste this good piece of oak on that. Let me just grab... I'm going to grab a chunk of cedar here. No, hold on. I get some thicker pine back here. Just trying to find it. It's got varnish on it. I don't know. White. I don't want to destroy the blade. So piles of wood here. Oh, got some mahogany. So there's a chunk of white oak. You know, here's a good little chunk of white oak right here. It could be red oak. Can't tell. It looks like it's red oak. It's a pretty good chunk of red oak right here. So let's try to cut. I'm going to try to cut that curve. Now this is a 1/2 inch blade, so I don't think it'll cut that curve, but we'll try it and let's see what happens. Because of the overset, which was the whole method behind the setting. I hope the light's good here. Yeah, it looks all right. So I'm going to try to cut it. Let's see how tight we can cut it. All right, so with a 1/2 inch blade on this saw, which normally doesn't cut curves very good, it's more for resawing stuff on this little thing, I was able to cut that curve very comfortably. I didn't follow the line completely. I kind of like would start to feel it bind and change my trajectory, but you know, I was able to cut that very comfortably. So oversetting it a little bit did help me be able to cut curves. You know, those are pretty good curves for, you know, thick oak. It's definitely red oak. Thick oak on this little old Craftsman 113 bandsaw with a 1/2 inch blade on it. Now, if I could get to... This saw doesn't normally... isn't a 1/2 inch blade kind of saw. Hold on, I'm going to move you just a second. See if I can pull out a typical blade. I don't know if I can get to him. Probably, hold on. I could probably try. Hold on one sec. Sorry, the shop is just buried with tools here. I mean, if you look around, I got concrete saws to repair for a customer. Got my bag laying here. We got some plywood we don't want to throw out. I've got my outfeed table, chainsaw grinders. There's another grinder behind that. You know, we're just buried. This is going to be cutting board for my wife out of white oak. All my tools from going in and out every day. So, you know, I'm kind of buried here. But up there, I have a whole bunch of bandsaw blades. And I'll show you what a typical blade is for this saw. Something that is more meant for this kind of bandsaw. Because these big 1/2 inch blades are not. So this would be a more typical blade for this Craftsman. Let me show you the difference. Get this back out of the way. Get my old super modified Craftsman 113 out of the way here. Get that out of the way. Oh, shit. My glasses on the ground. I'm just gonna pull this to the side. Show you the difference between these two blades. So this is a fairly big blade for this saw. This is a typical blade for the... It's not a good view. This is a typical blade for this saw. So to have this blade cut these curves, that's definitely proof of concept. Now you can see I wasn't exactly trying to be perfect with that. I was going pretty fast, but this thing will cut circles. This blade will cut absolute circles. This is more meant for resawing, and I got into these because of that project I was talking about before where I had to rip down 6-inch wide pieces of white oak for a customer. And I made... You can see this here. Get all my jigs under here. I made this fence for that one specific job to rip that white oak down, and this fits. Let's see in here. So it fits in here and clamps in. So what you typically do is you run a piece of plywood through it to see what your cut drift is, mark a Sharpie line, and then you can clamp this parallel to your cut drift line. And I had the height to put the white oak against on this, and then run it through the blade to get my thickness on trying to rip down these massive, huge, like 12 feet long, 6.5 inches high, 2 inches thick pieces of white oak to turn into shiplap for this customer's bathroom. But these are crazy, ridiculously sharp. And this is just a perfectly square piece of plywood with square gussets in it, so that you're perfectly square up and down. This table is adjustable, but this I made this just for that job. So yeah, proof of concept wise, the sharpening so far is a home run. It worked incredible. Let's while I'm here, let's rip this piece of red oak. Let's resaw this piece of red oak. So get this thing back, flip it around, make sure you guys are in the middle. That's a pretty good view. Make sure my arms aren't in the way. Let's get this at the height. So let's resaw this thing. Try to rip like an 1/8 inch wide strip off it. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but that bottom isn't square to the face, so it kind of cut at an angle, but get it in close so you can see the finish. It's fairly smooth, and I mean, I'm not even making any effort whatsoever to, take time or make this cut smooth. So setting it by hand, sharpening it the way I did, this worked terrific. This is, a total home run. So, yeah, proof of concept wise, home run. Worked great. White oak. Is book match. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you're not supposed to be able to do this on this saw. Being able to resaw white oak like this on this saw is not supposed to be able to be done. So, home run. I'll get the camera up like this. So yeah, it works. If you didn't see the sharpening video or the setting video, watch it. And again, to reiterate, you don't have to sharpen it the way I did. You can sharpen it any way you want. You want to set before you sharpen. You watch the setting video. I explained a lot of stuff in the setting video. It's cold out here in the shop. You can see my breath. And sharpening wise, with the way I set up the Foley to do the Foley bell saw automatic sharpener to do this, guys, home run. Worked perfect. I'm going to leave that blade on there. Now, we got some Christmas projects going on. As you can see, the pile of white oak here. We're doing a jigsaw cutting board. So it's a cutting board on one side, flat. And on the other side, It's got like nut trays in it, and it's cut out like a jigsaw puzzle, and the pieces go back together and you can make it any size you want. So I'm cutting blanks for that for the wife so she can glue it up and finish that out. Sorry about the mess in here. You know, I got my 8-footer out because I'm doing a big deck and setting elevations, and got little Billy over there. Here's Billy.
Hi.
It's the jointer. So I have a whole Craftsman setup here. So 20 minutes on this, cool. So I have the Craftsman Alien planer, which does work, but it's about only good for 2x4s. It can go out to 2x6s, but doesn't cut much thicker and doesn't cut much wider than that. We don't use it very often because I do have another planer. We have the 113 jointer. We have the 113 table saw. I mean, table saw. We have the 113 bandsaw, and I do have the 113 table saw, which has been highly modified. It's got outfeed table with a router table in it. I mean, outfeed wing with a router table in it that I built. It's got a Delta fence on it, and it mainly lives with the crosscut slab. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Looks like proof of concept wise, to quote Doug Makita, it cuts. Thanks much, and happy holidays. And I'll definitely shoot some more videos as we get into some of the other stuff that we're doing. But appreciate the watch. Hit like and subscribe. Comments, I answer them all back. Thanks.